I should have known something was off, but I didn't. I trusted Naomi. I trusted Marcus. It was a late evening when I came home from work expecting a quiet night. I had no idea that my entire world was about to crumble. I pushed open the door to our apartment, the same door that I'd walked through 1,000 times before. The smell of dinner, the sound of Naomi's soft laugh, it all felt so normal. So familiar. I froze when I heard another sound, a sound I shouldn't have heard. Naomi. I don't know what to do. It was Marcus's voice. My stomach dropped. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. But I couldn't stop myself from inching closer to the living room, where I could see them both through the gap in the door. There they were. My wife Naomi and my cousin Marcus. Her arms wrapped around his neck, his lips on hers. I stood there, paralyzed, staring at the scene unfolding before me. They didn't see me. They didn't even hear the door. I didn't know how long I stood there, just watching. It felt like hours. My thoughts were a mess, swirling around, but the only thing I could focus on was the image before me. Naomi, my wife, the woman I had trusted more than anyone, kissing my cousin. I thought I'd felt anger before, but nothing compared to this. I wanted to shout, to scream, but my throat was tight. My chest felt like it was closing in, suffocating me. Suddenly, Naomi pulled away from Marcus, her eyes wide. What's wrong? Why are you just standing there? Her voice broke the trance I was in. My mind was racing, but I couldn't make sense of anything. Why, Naomi? I heard myself say before I could stop it. My voice barely sounded like my own. It was shaking, broken. She stepped back, her face pale. I can explain, I swear. Explain? My voice grew louder, more incredulous. How do you explain this? How do you explain betraying me with my own cousin? Marcus stood up, looking uncomfortable. It's not what you think, man. It just happened. We never meant for it. Stop! I interrupted. I don't want to hear it. I couldn't even look at them anymore. I turned, walked out the door and slammed it behind me. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't even care. All I could think about was the scene that I'd just witnessed, the betrayal that felt like a knife in my chest. I needed to leave. I needed space to breathe. But I didn't know how to fix the gaping hole they'd just torn through my life. I spent days in a fog of anger, replaying that moment over and over in my head. Naomi, my wife with Marcus, my cousin. I couldn't stop seeing them together. I could hardly eat, sleep, or think without that image haunting me. But something shifted inside me. Anger has a way of making you stronger, doesn't it? It was no longer about the pain. It was about power, control. I wasn't just going to let this go. I wasn't going to forgive them. That was never an option. I needed to make them feel what I felt. I needed them to understand the weight of their actions. I sat at my desk, staring at my laptop screen. It was there, right in front of me, the company where they both worked. I knew it like the back of my hand. They had no idea how much control I had over their lives already. I could do more than just make their days miserable. I could take everything from them. I picked up the phone. Hey, I want the full package on Revere Group, I said to my assistant. All the financials, contacts, key players, everything. I'm buying them out. The words tasted bitter, but they felt good too. I didn't need to hear another word from Naomi. Didn't need Marcus's excuses. I'd make them pay in a way they would never see coming. I wasn't just some fool to be toyed with. The more I thought about it, the clearer the plan became. Money, power. It would hit them both like a freight train. I would own their world. A week later, I watched as the papers came through. I had it all. Revere Group was mine. They had no idea. It was a Sunday afternoon when I decided to pay them a visit at the office. I knew Naomi would be there working late, probably hiding from the guilt she hadn't fully confronted yet. Marcus? He'd be there too, probably still riding high on the thrill of their betrayal. I walked into the building, the lights flickering overhead. I didn't even bother with the elevator. I took the stairs. When I reached the top floor, I could already hear them talking, laughing, as if nothing had happened. I stepped into the doorway of their office, my presence so sudden it made them freeze. Naomi's smile faded instantly. Marcus looked up, eyes wide. What's going on? Naomi asked, her voice shaking slightly. I didn't say anything at first. I just let the silence hang in the air, thick and suffocating. I own this place now, I finally said, leaning against the doorframe, their faces drained of color. They had no idea what was coming. They had no idea what I was capable of. I'm going to make your lives hell, I added, barely a whisper. But don't worry. It'll be just like you wanted. You two, together. Forever. Their jaws tightened. I could feel their tension, the reality setting in. Naomi opened her mouth, but I cut her off. Not a word. I don't want to hear anything from you. Just know that every moment from now on will be mine to control. Welcome to your new reality. I left their stunned silence behind me, walking out the door with a sense of satisfaction that I couldn't explain. I had control now, and they were going to feel it every damn day. It felt too easy the way everything fell into place after I bought Revere Group. I had control now, complete control. It was my company, my rules, and I wasn't about to let them forget that. Naomi and Marcus had no idea what was coming. The tables had turned, and I was enjoying every second of it. I called Naomi into my office first. I watched her walk in, her eyes avoiding mine, guilt and shame thick in the air between us. She closed the door softly behind her. Sit, I said, pointing to the chair across from my desk. I didn't have time for pleasantries. She hesitated, then did as I said. Her face was pale, and I could see the struggle in her eyes, like she was trying to figure out what to say, what to do to fix it. But there was no fixing this. I know what you're trying to do, she started, her voice trembling. Please, just listen to me. I was stupid. I made a mistake. A huge mistake, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I swear it was never about you, about us. It was a moment of weakness. Her words felt like daggers, and I couldn't stand hearing it. A moment of weakness, I repeated, leaning back in my chair. Is that what you think this is? A mistake? She nodded, desperation in her eyes. Yes, I never meant to hurt you. You have to believe me. I love you. I didn't want to hear it. Not anymore. No, Naomi, I said, cutting her off. You don't get to walk in here and ask for forgiveness after what you did. It's too late for that. What you and Marcus did, it's not just a mistake. It's betrayal, and you don't get to undo that. Her face flushed, and I could see tears welling up in her eyes. Please, she whispered, voice breaking. I'll do anything to make it right. Anything. I almost felt pity, almost, but I couldn't let it get to me. Not now, not after everything. I'm not here to fix you, I said coldly, standing up. You and Marcus are going to work under me now. You'll report to me every single day like everyone else. You'll do your jobs like nothing happened, and you'll know exactly who's in charge from now on. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Do you understand? I asked, my voice firm. She nodded, still in shock, but I could see the defeat in her eyes. She was broken. Later that day, I called Marcus into my office. He walked in with the same silent arrogance he always had, but it didn't faze me anymore. His usual charm? Gone. All I could see was the man who betrayed me. He didn't sit. He just stood there, arms crossed, staring at me like he was waiting for something. I know you're pissed, man, he finally said, breaking the silence. But shut up, Marcus, I cut him off. You don't get to explain this away. You don't get to make excuses. You're going to work under me too. I'm your boss now, and you'll answer to me every day. You'll respect me, or I'll make sure you regret it. His expression faltered for a second, and for a brief moment, I saw something close to fear in his eyes. But it was gone just as quickly. Fine, he said with a sharp nod, his voice flat. Whatever you want. I almost laughed at how easy it was. He was so used to being the one in control, but now, he was just another employee. Good, I said, my voice dripping with satisfaction. We'll see how long you can last under me. As the days passed, I couldn't help but enjoy the shift in power. Every time I saw them, Naomi pleading with me to forgive her, Marcus, walking around like a shell of the man he once was, I felt it. The control, the dominance. But deep down, there was a nagging feeling, a small voice telling me that this wasn't who I was. That I shouldn't take pleasure in their downfall. I ignored it. I couldn't go back now. Not after everything they'd done. I don't know when it happened exactly, but somewhere along the way, I stopped caring about the reasons behind my actions. The pain faded, replaced by a single clear goal, success. The company was growing faster than I'd ever imagined. Every decision I made felt like a step closer to reclaiming what they'd stolen from me. I didn't think about Naomi and Marcus much anymore, not when I was buried in numbers and meetings. But I'd be lying if I said the satisfaction didn't linger. Naomi knocked softly on my office door. I didn't bother looking up from my paperwork. Can I talk to you? She asked, voice hesitant. I sighed, setting the pen down slowly. Come in. She stepped inside, looking smaller than usual, her face worn from stress. I could see the regret in her eyes, but it didn't change anything. I know you're busy, she started, taking a deep breath. But I need to say something. About what happened. I folded my arms, leaning back in my chair. You had your chance. You should have said it before, Naomi. She winced, her eyes filling with emotion. I know, but I don't want to work like this. I don't want to be your employee. She emphasized the last word, but the hurt behind it didn't escape me. I leaned forward, keeping my voice steady. You don't get to make that choice anymore. You did want this, remember? You and Marcus, you both wanted something else. Well, now you've got it. You'll work under me, just like everyone else. You'll do your job, and I won't make this harder than it has to be. Keep your head down and keep working. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She was shaking her head, eyes avoiding mine now. I don't know how to fix this. I want to go back to what we had before. I couldn't stop the bitterness from rising in my chest. What we had was a lie. You made that clear. She stood up slowly, the silence hanging heavy between us. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I never thought it would hurt you like this. You didn't think at all, I shot back. You were too busy getting what you wanted. She hesitated before speaking again. I'm sorry. I really am. I don't expect you to forgive me. She trailed off, her shoulders slumped. I didn't answer right away. Part of me almost wanted to reach out, to tell her it didn't matter, to find some way to ease her pain. But I couldn't. Not anymore. Just get back to work, I said flatly. That's all that matters now. As she left, I felt nothing. It wasn't satisfaction or relief. It was just a quiet numbness. Naomi wasn't the woman I married anymore, and maybe I wasn't the man she married either. A few hours later, Marcus came in. He didn't knock. He never did. He stood there in the doorway, looking just as defeated as Naomi. You wanted to talk? I asked, not even pretending to be interested. He didn't sit. He just stared at me, then at the floor. I didn't mean for it to go this far, man. I never wanted to lose everything. I raised an eyebrow, not sure what he was expecting from me. Well, you've got nothing now. You wanted to mess with my life? Now look where you are. His eyes were dark, guilt written all over his face. I know I screwed up. I don't know how to fix it. You can't fix it, I said, the words colder than I meant. The damage is done. You're not a part of my life anymore, Marcus. You're just another guy I own now? His shoulders slumped, but he didn't argue. He knew better than to do that. Get to work, I told him. That's all you can do now. As he walked out, I leaned back in my chair again, a sense of finality settling in my chest. The past was gone. What mattered now was this, my company, my success, and whatever came next. Nothing else. It's funny how time shifts things. At first, the anger burned hot. But now it's something else. I'd thought I'd get over it, that the revenge would fill the void. But as the days stretched on, I started to feel something different, something I wasn't expecting. Satisfaction. Naomi came into my office again, her steps slower this time, like she wasn't sure if she even belonged in this space anymore. She looked like she hadn't slept in days, her hair disheveled, eyes swollen from crying. Can we talk? She asked quietly. I didn't look up from the papers I was reviewing. What about? I asked, my voice flat, disinterested. She stood there, hesitating, then slowly sat down across from me. I just need you to understand how sorry I am. I didn't know what I was doing. I was confused and I made the worst mistake of my life. Her voice cracked. I leaned back in my chair, feeling a strange sense of distance from her. She was breaking down in front of me, and all I could think about was how easy it had been to get here. To be the one with power now. I'm not interested in your apologies, Naomi, I said, keeping my voice steady. You've had your chance to explain yourself. It's over. You can't fix what's broken. I know, she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. But please, just don't look at me like I'm some stranger. I was your wife. I loved you. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, looking more fragile than I'd ever seen her, and I couldn't help but feel nothing. You're right, I said, finally looking at her, my voice growing colder. You were my wife, and now you're just another employee, and that's all you'll ever be, just like Marcus. The day wore on, and I found myself watching them both more closely than usual. Naomi, struggling to keep herself together, her eyes flicking to me whenever she thought I wasn't looking. Marcus, sitting across the room, typing away at his computer, the same distant look he always wore. But there was something different now. He didn't look at me anymore, not like he used to. He wasn't even pretending anymore. I walked over to his desk, watching as he shifted uneasily in his chair when he saw me approach. "Got a minute?" I asked, my voice casual like I wasn't about to tear him down. He looked up, his lips pressed tight. "What's up?" "Just checking in," I said, leaning on his desk, staring him down. "How's it feel?" He frowned, a flicker of something. Guilt? Passing through his eyes before he hit it again. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice flat. "Living under me," I clarified, enjoying the control I felt. "You're nothing now, Marcus. You're not the man you thought you were. Not anymore," he sighed, his gaze dropping to the desk. "I don't need you to remind me, man," he muttered, his tone laced with something that wasn't just bitterness. "I know. Every day I know." I felt the strange satisfaction surge in me again. "Good. You should." I walked away, leaving him in that little corner of the office where he no longer had the power he used to. It wasn't about making him beg for forgiveness. I didn't care about that. It was about watching him struggle, watching them both crack under the pressure. It was about seeing how far they would go to keep their pride intact. As the days went by, it became clear to me that Naomi's regret wasn't something she could just talk away. Every look she gave me, every time I caught her hesitating in the hallway, I saw it. She was broken. And Marcus? He kept his distance, but I saw the sadness in his eyes, even when he tried to mask it with indifference. It wasn't about forgiveness anymore. It was about making them feel it. The betrayal, the loss, the emptiness, and I was finally starting to feel that I was the one in control. I knew Marcus couldn't handle the pressure. It was only a matter of time before his mistakes started to pile up, and this one was going to cost him. The project he was supposed to lead, big client, high stakes, he'd screwed it up badly. I'd seen it coming even before the first red flag popped up. He was too distracted, too worn down by guilt, and I was just waiting for it to unravel. I wasn't disappointed. I watched the panic start to settle in his eyes as the errors came to light. Missed deadlines, overlooked details, one thing after another. I could practically hear the train wreck happening in real time. The phone calls from clients, the meetings with management. They were all a blur, but I couldn't stop watching him squirm. I walked into the conference room the day the final meeting was called. Marcus was already there, trying desperately to smooth over his mess. Naomi sat beside him, silent, her face pale and drawn. She hadn't been the same since the day I took control, and it was clear she was spiraling. "You've got this, Marcus," I said, not even trying to hide the satisfaction in my voice. "Right? It's all in your hands now." He barely looked up, his hands shaking as he fiddled with the paperwork. I'll fix it. I just need a little more time." I could see it in his eyes. He knew it was over. He knew there was no fixing it. The mistakes were too big and they couldn't be undone. Not by him, not by anyone. "You don't need time," I replied, leaning against the doorframe, watching the train wreck. "You needed to be competent from the start." Naomi shifted uncomfortably in her chair, glancing between Marcus and me. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her guilt was consuming her. I could see it in the way she couldn't meet my eyes anymore. She was a shell of the person she used to be. "Don't worry, Naomi," I said, watching her squirm in her seat. "You've got your own problems to deal with now. Watching this train wreck unfold day after day must be exhausting." She winced at my words. I could feel the weight of her regret, but I didn't care. Not anymore. She made her choice, and now she was getting exactly what she deserved. Marcus finally looked up, his face pale, frustration mixing with guilt. I don't know what you want from me. I'm doing everything I can to fix this." I took a slow breath, savoring the moment. "You can't fix this. It's too late for that. You've already ruined it." His shoulders slumped, and I almost felt pity, but I stopped myself. No, I wasn't going to feel bad for him. I wasn't going to fall into the trap of sympathy. He had made his bed, and now he had to lie in it. Naomi opened her mouth, but I stopped her before she could speak. Don't bother. Nothing you say will change what's already happened. I turned to Marcus, who was visibly cracking under the pressure. You've lost everything, Marcus. And now you get to watch it all fall apart. The silence between us felt thick, suffocating. They were both broken, and I was the one who'd caused it. Watching them fall apart like this should have felt like a victory, but all I could feel was nothing. It wasn't satisfaction. It wasn't happiness. It was just the quiet knowledge that I had won. It's strange how silence can be louder than any explosion. At first, I thought revenge would feel like a victory, like something would click inside me and everything would fall into place. But as the days dragged on, as I watched Marcus and Naomi fumble through their work, fail repeatedly, and crumble under pressure, I realized something. Revenge wasn't about fireworks. It was about the quiet, relentless grind of watching them break. And that, I thought, was the truest form of justice. Naomi looked different these days. Where she used to hold her head high, now she walked with her shoulders slumped, her eyes perpetually searching for something, anything to hold on to. She'd grown thinner too, her face drawn and tired. The sparkle that once lit up her smile was gone, replaced with something else. Regret? Guilt? She wasn't the woman I had married, and I didn't know who she was anymore. She came into my office one afternoon, her footsteps hesitant. Can we talk? Her voice cracked as she spoke, and for a brief moment I almost felt sorry for her. I didn't bother looking up from the papers I was reviewing. Talk about what? You've had plenty of chances already. She stood there for a moment, the silence stretching between us. Finally, she spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. I've been thinking about everything, about what I did. I know I can't undo it, but please, I need you to know how sorry I am. I set the papers down slowly, then looked at her. There was nothing left to say. Sorry? That's what you think this is about? A simple apology? She flinched at my words. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so selfish. I've been living with this guilt every day and it's killing me. But I'll do whatever it takes. I'll work harder, I'll be better. I just need you to understand that Stop, I cut her off. The anger wasn't there anymore, but something darker had taken its place. You don't get to fix this, not now. Not ever. She blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears.
I don't expect you to forgive me, she said, choking on the words.
But I just need you to know that I regret it. I regret everything. I stared at her for a long time, letting the silence settle. Regret doesn't change anything, Naomi. You made your choice and now you live with the consequences. She tried to speak again, but I stood up, the finality of my movements cutting her off. Don't bother. There's nothing you can say that'll fix this. You lost. Later that day, Marcus walked by my office. He didn't knock, didn't say a word. Just passed by, his head down. It was always like that now. His silence spoke volumes. He didn't even try to make excuses anymore. I hadn't heard him speak a word of apology, and I wasn't sure I ever would. I watched him disappear down the hallway, his footsteps echoing, but I didn't feel satisfaction. Not the way I thought I would. Instead, there was just this hollow feeling. I had broken them without lifting a finger, and yet it still didn't feel like enough. It wasn't about making them beg or grovel. It was about watching them fall apart piece by piece. As I watched Naomi slowly lose herself and Marcus retreat further into his silence, I realized the truth. This wasn't about getting something back. It wasn't about finding peace in their misery. It was about learning to live with the emptiness. And maybe that was the real punishment. Their downfall wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. And that was enough. The moment I saw Naomi standing in front of my office, I knew it was coming. She had been avoiding me for weeks, but she couldn't run forever. She stood there, her shoulders slumped, her face pale, and I could feel the desperation radiating off her. I didn't ask her to sit. There was no need for pleasantries anymore. I need to talk to you, she said, her voice trembling. I leaned back in my chair, keeping my eyes on her but saying nothing. She bit her lip, then spoke again, her words coming out in a rush. I know you hate me. I know what I did can never be undone, but I need you to know how sorry I am. I didn't mean for things to end up like this. I made a mistake and I would give anything to take it all back. Please just tell me what I can do to fix this. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger, not pain, just a strange emptiness. I couldn't feel sorry for her anymore. The Naomi standing in front of me was nothing like the woman I once knew. I don't want you back, I said flatly. You don't get to come here broken and beg me to fix things. You made your choice and now you're living with it. There's nothing left for you in this company. In my life. Her face crumpled at my words, and I could see the tears threatening to fall, but I didn't flinch. I wasn't going to soften. Not this time, I was stupid, she whispered, her voice breaking. I never meant for you to get hurt. I thought I could fix everything, but I couldn't. I don't know how to make it right. I finally stood up, walking around the desk toward her. There was no remorse in my steps. No hesitation. I had nothing left to say. I was done. You can't fix this, Naomi, I said coldly. You've ruined everything. You ruined us. I paused, watching her struggle to keep her composure. And now, I'm going to ruin you. Her eyes widened in shock, but I didn't give her a chance to respond. I'm firing you, I said, the words hanging in the air. Both of you. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. She was shaking now, tears finally slipping down her cheeks, but I didn't care. You can't do that, she whispered. You can't just— I can, and I just did, I said, cutting her off. Your services are no longer needed. I don't need to explain it to you. The look on her face as she walked out of my office was one I'll never forget. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. She was just staring at the ground, broken, defeated. She didn't even have the strength to be angry. Minutes later, Marcus walked in. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. I saw it in his eyes, the realization that it was over. He knew. He could feel it too. I'm sorry, he said quietly, his voice barely audible. I didn't even look at him. Don't waste your breath. You're fired. He stood there for a moment, still silent. His pride wouldn't let him beg. It never had, but I could see it, his defeat. The guilt that had been eating at him for weeks was finally too much to ignore, and now it had taken everything from him. He turned and left without another word. I watched him go, feeling nothing. As the door closed behind him, I felt it. The finality of it all. I had finally let go. The past, the betrayal, the pain, it was all gone, and the strange thing? I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel happy. I just felt empty. I'd broken them. And now I was free, but it didn't bring me peace. It only left me with silence. It's over now. Naomi and Marcus are gone from my life like I always wanted. I don't feel relief, though. I don't feel anything except this emptiness that seems to stretch on forever. They're out of my company, out of my life, but I'm still here sitting in this office staring at the same walls. The only difference now is that I'm alone. I thought firing them would feel like a victory. I thought I'd feel some sense of power, but all I feel is hollow. I've gotten everything I set out to achieve: revenge, control, satisfaction. So why does it still feel like I've lost? I spend more time working now, pouring myself into the company. I've been making decisions, taking calls, acting like everything's fine, but deep down I'm still trying to fill the gap they left behind. There's no one to blame but myself. I wanted this. I wanted to watch them fall. And I did. But what did I gain from it? Nothing. Nothing except a quiet, endless ache. The office feels quieter without them. The small moments that used to annoy me, the way Marcus would always speak over me in meetings, Naomi's habit of laughing a little too loudly at her own jokes, are gone now. And yet it doesn't feel better. It just feels empty. I think about them sometimes. Naomi, her tear-streaked face when I fired her. Marcus, always silent, but that silent shame in his eyes when he walked out. I should have felt good about it. I should have felt like I had won, but all I can think about is how easy it was to break them. It was too easy. And now it's over. They've disappeared, and I don't know what to do with the aftermath. I run into a colleague in the hallway one morning. He gives me a quick nod, and I return it without thinking. He pauses, his face softening as if sensing something. How are you holding up? He asks. I look at him surprised. The question doesn't feel real. No one's asked me that in a while. I'm fine, I say quickly, probably too quickly. Just busy. He studies me for a moment longer before walking away. I don't know why it feels like I'm lying to him, but I know I am. I'm not fine. I'm not even close to fine. I've learned some hard truths through all of this, though. Like how easily people can betray you when you least expect it, and how loyalty is just a word that people throw around when it's convenient. I've learned that trust is a dangerous thing to give, and once it's gone for good. I've learned that revenge doesn't fill the hole it creates. It only deepens it, but I've also learned how to be stronger. I've learned how to protect myself, how to trust no one, how to keep my guard up. I won't let anyone in again. Not the way I did with Naomi, not the way I did with Marcus. They're out of my life and I'm still here. I'll keep moving forward. I'll keep pushing ahead. But the truth is, I'll never be the same. I'll never be able to forget the price I paid to get what I wanted. I stand in front of the mirror, staring at the person I've become. It's not a version of me that I recognize. Not completely. But it's who I am now. The events that unfolded, the betrayal, the revenge, those things are part of me, but they don't define me anymore. I've learned that. Slowly, painfully, but I've learned. The past few months have been a blur of work, decisions, and moments where I didn't feel much at all. But now there's a shift. I'm not doing this for anyone else. Not for Naomi, not for Marcus. I'm doing it for me. And in a way that feels freeing. I've stopped looking over my shoulder, stopped waiting for the next betrayal. I focus on what I can control, my own future. I've thrown myself into projects that matter to me, ones that have nothing to do with them. For the first time in months, I wake up with a purpose that isn't revenge-driven. I've started to build something just for me. I meet with my team in the conference room. The energy is different now, more focused, more driven. My leadership is clear, not born from anger or hurt, but from a place of calm strength. I lead because I believe in the direction I'm taking, and it shows. You've been on fire lately, John, one of the senior analysts says as we wrap up the meeting. I've never seen you this driven. I nod, feeling the truth in his words. I've got a lot to prove. To myself more than anyone. I can see the respect in his eyes, and for the first time in a while I feel like I've earned it. Not by breaking people, but by building something new. Something that's mine. Later, Naomi sends an email. Her words are short, almost apologetic, asking if we can meet. I don't even bother opening it. I've seen enough of her. Her apologies have no weight anymore. She's lost in her own guilt, and I'm not here to save her. I don't owe her anything. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I've moved on. I'm moving forward, and I won't let her or Marcus pull me back into that world of chaos and regret. They are part of the past now, pieces that belong in a chapter I've closed. The phone rings, and it's Marcus. I hesitate for a moment before answering. Hey, I say, keeping my tone neutral. Hey, I just wanted to see how you're doing, he says, his voice almost hesitant. You know, since everything went down, I don't answer right away. Part of me wants to snap at him, remind him of everything he did, but I don't. I've learned something important through all of this. Some people aren't worth your energy, and he's one of them. I'm fine, I finally say. I'm focused on the future now, Marcus. I suggest you do the same. He's silent for a beat like he's processing my words. Then he sighs. Yeah, I get it. I just thought I should reach out. I appreciate the thought, I reply, my voice firm, but not unkind. But I'm done looking back. You should be too. I hang up without waiting for him to say anything else. The conversation is over. And as I put the phone down, I feel a strange sense of peace. As I sit back at my desk, I reflect on everything that's happened. Naomi, Marcus, the betrayal, the revenge, it all feels so distant now. It was never about them anyway. It was about me, about finding a way to move forward. And now, that's exactly what I'm doing. I know I'll never forget the past. I know it will always be a part of me, but it doesn't control me anymore. I'm in charge of my own future now, and that's a power I won't give up. The transformation isn't instant. It's slow, steady, but it's happening. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm truly living for myself. It's quiet now. No more late-night arguments. No more constant thoughts about revenge or what's next. I don't wake up with a pit in my stomach anymore, wondering how I'm going to survive another day with the weight of it all pressing down on me. Naomi and Marcus are gone, and I've come to realize something important. The past is just that, the past. It doesn't have to control me. I'm sitting in my office, a place I once dreaded coming to, but now it's different. Now I feel in control. I feel calm. The weight I've carried for so long isn't there anymore, and I can breathe easier. The phone rings, pulling me out of my thoughts. I look at the caller ID, and for a split second, I think about ignoring it. But something tells me I should pick up. Hello? I answer, my voice steady, not giving away any trace of what's been happening in my head. "Hey, it's John," the voice on the other end says. "Just wanted to check in. I know things have been crazy lately, but I think you're really turning things around here. People are talking and it's all good." I let out a breath, feeling a small sense of pride. "Thanks, John. It means a lot." "I'm serious," he continues. "You're different now. People notice. It's like the shift you've been going through is... Well, it's working." I smile slightly, a dry smile. "Yeah, it's been a journey." "I know it hasn't been easy," he says, his tone sympathetic. "But I just wanted to remind you that you've got this. Whatever comes next, you're ready." I lean back in my chair, nodding even though he can't see me. "I appreciate that. I'm ready for whatever comes. The past is behind me now." I hang up and sit there for a moment, thinking about everything that's led me here. The betrayal, the anger, the need for revenge. It all feels so far away now. I still have the scars, of course. Those don't just disappear, but they've healed. In a way, they're part of me now. Part of what makes me who I am. I think about Naomi and Marcus. They're out there, lost in their own struggles, but they no longer have any hold over me. They're not in my future, and that's something I've had to accept. I don't know where they are or what they're doing, and honestly, I don't care. I've learned that some things aren't worth holding on to, and they're one of those things. The future is wide open now. I'm no longer chained to the past. I've learned to trust myself, to trust that I can handle whatever comes my way. I've made peace with everything that happened, and I'm stronger because of it. I stand up from my desk, looking out the window. The city stretches out before me, full of possibilities. And for the first time in a long time, I feel ready for it. Ready for whatever the future holds. The past is behind me. And the beginning? It starts now.